guys, welcome to the Homestead. So we're going to talk about my review on the Great Homeschool Convention that I went to recently with my two children and had a fantastic time. I have never been to a homeschool convention before. This is my first time ever going to one, and I had a blast. I'm definitely going to go to more. There were just so many things there to learn. I love the lectures. I love the vendors. I love so many things about it. There were some things I didn't like about it so much, but we'll talk about that. But overall, I had a great time, and my kids had a great time, and we're definitely going to do more. So, okay, there's a huge list of speakers that they had, schedules, that you can go to. And usually every hour, they got about 10 to 12 speakers going on at the same time. So you can only pick one every hour to go to. And that was a hard choice because there were so many good ones I wanted to see. And I was going through, looking at their topics and looking at the subjects and trying to figure, okay, who do I want to see? Why, and trying to figure out. But I had a great time. We're going to talk about some of the things I liked, some of the things I didn't like. I went through a lot of the speakers. I took copious amounts of notes. And so I want to be able to do some of these videos later on talking about some of these topics because I think they're good topics and I think they're important to bring up. But anyway, they have a schedule that came out. It's the Missouri Homeschool Convention, St. Charles Convention Center. They have these at different places throughout the United States throughout the year. So this was the first one that kicked off in St. Charles. Now, if you're like in different places, different states, you may check out their schedule and see what is available and go ahead and maybe see if you can make one of the other ones. Although the one I think in St. Charles is going to be the biggest. And there's lots of different homeschool conferences and conventions throughout the United States during the year. So do your own research on Google. Try to find homeschool conventions and just see what's out there and try to make one if you can. So here I have notes, so I want to make sure I stay on topic during this video. Okay, so let's just kick off first. Things I did not like. Things I thought that could be improved for the next time. Number one, the audio-visual problems. Most of the lectures I went to, not all, but most of them, I had to kind of strain to hear, and the audio was just not good. They had these little lapel mics that they were putting on people, and they were down. It's just they weren't picking up their voices, especially for people in the back. And some of these rooms can be big and small. It just depended, and they have all these speakers everywhere, and so they can't have the feedback in these small confined spaces where these speakers are. So they had to like lower down the gain. They had audio problems, and I did not like that. Thankfully, most of the speakers I could hear, but I had to strain a lot for most of them. Okay. I think they had a dedicated team who was trying to work out, but they were going from room to room and they were running around like chickens with their head cut off trying to address all the issues every hour with the speakers and the audio problems. But they just need to get a better handle on the audio, I think. The other thing was I wish they would reach out more to influencers and not so much vendors. I don't know how their vendor system works or how they choose their speakers, but there was a few speakers out there. Listen, number one, I gained knowledge from every single lecture I went to. Okay, every single lecture I went to, I gleaned something from it and thought it was good that I went there. Okay, but some of the speakers used their hour-long lecture time as kind of like an infomercial. Not all of them, not most of them, just a few of them. And I didn't like that. I don't know why they have all vendors. I think it'd be better just to have influencers and maybe some vendors or vendors who are like, listen, I'm not going to try to sell something during my hour. I have a vendor booth for that. Come see my booth. You can say that at the end of the lecture. But I thought that they should try to gear more towards influencers. And some of the people who were vendors who sell curriculum were definitely influencers. I mean, there's some big names there. But yeah, that was like the only other thing I did not really care for. But again, it wasn't all that often. So here's what I loved. Number one, I did love the vendors. The vendor section was fantastic. Seeing all of these resources, you guys who are homeschool veterans who have already raised your kids, they're already out of homeschool and they're moving on to other parts of their lives. You guys really slugged it out. You guys did not have the resources that we have at our fingertips today. You guys really laid the groundwork for the benefits that we are now experiencing who are going through this process of homeschooling. So my hat's off to you. And to go into this vendor area and see all of the different options for curriculum and supplements that we have today, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And so I loved it. I ended up, we'll do some videos maybe on some of the things that I purchased coming up in another video, some of the things I'm supplementing with. If you'd like to see that video, leave a comment below. But I thought maybe a video just on some of the things that I'm supplementing. I know I'm using Liberty for my curriculum, but I supplement. I have other things that I use, I bring in to be able to, because I don't think Liberty is enough. I think Liberty is great. It's a good foundation. You got your math, English, language arts, history, science. But I want to supplement with other things. And so that's what I'm doing. And seeing all these vendors and all the options really helps me do that. The other thing I really loved was the speakers. So starting off, Andrew Pedawa, he was a very popular speaker. They put him in the big room. Fantastic. I only went to one of his lectures, but the lecture I did go to was Thursday afternoon, was absolutely fantastic. It says power tips for improving teaching and learning at home, and it was good power tips. Had a fantastic time at that one. Sarah McKenzie and Colleen Kessler, two very popular speakers. Jamie was very familiar with Sarah McKenzie and watched her blogs and stuff like that back in the day. And so I really appreciated that they did a combined talk. I only went to one of their lectures. It was the one that they combined. I think it was the last day of the function where they combined both of them together. And they were talking about the reading process of children. And just now, I was sitting there the entire lecture nodding my head and going, oh my gosh. And just, it almost choked me up because of, things that Jamie said to me back in the day were coming back to me. And I read to my kids. Jamie always thought that was very important, that I read to my children. And it's because of things that they were saying in that lecture. Sarah McKenzie and Colleen were just saying, I was like, oh my goodness. And just recently, my 10-year-old is starting to devour books. I mean, I can't keep up with him. I had to buy a whole series of Hardy Boys the other day because he's going through half. He's already through half of them. So I'm just now seeing the fruits of reading to my kids and sticking with it. Thank goodness. But yeah, so that was a fantastic talk. The other one was Organized 365. Now, depending on the popularity of the speaker, you had different size rooms based on what they thought they were, the crowd that they thought they were going to draw in. And there was two topics throughout this conference that absolutely drew in a lot of people, and they were in absolutely too small of a room for the lecture that they gave. Lisa Woodruff from Organized 365, she has a YouTube channel. I've been kind of devouring her videos as I go throughout my day and, doing dishes and whatever. And so Lisa Woodruff from Organized 365 is about organization. And that lecture, I only went to one of her lectures, but it was jam-packed. And I'm talking people, standing room only, people sitting in the aisles. I'm not kidding you. And because people want to know, how do I gain more time? How do I organize better? How do I do all the things I need to do in a day? And I'm already implementing some of the things that she suggests in the house since I've been back, and I've already seen the time savings. Fantastic. She has a YouTube channel, Organized 365. Check it out. Another thing was Tuttle Twins. I have a completely newfound respect for Tuttle Twins. I love that guy. I have a lot of the Tuttle Twin collection, and my kids have gone through all of it. They've read all of it. And I have a newfound respect for that guy and the Tuttle Twins. If you don't have Tuttle Twins in your home, you need to get Tuttle Twins in your home. It's foundational, in my opinion, now, to make sure your kids are off on the right track and they think about the world the way they need to be thinking about it. He was accused, the creator of Tuttle Twins, I forgot his name now, of indoctrinating children on CNN and other liberal outlets. You're just indoctrinating kids. And he used to be like, oh, no, we're trying to educate. We're trying to give a different point of view. Now he's like, darn right, we're trying to indoctrinate children. Absolutely, because that's what's needed. And he's just taking a full bore front to this. And he needs to. We need to. I love the Tuttle Twins. The last thing was talkbox.mom. Talkbox.mom. I have always wanted to implement a foreign language into my home. And I know from living in Europe for a number of years, when I was in the military, that you have to immerse yourself in the language. Otherwise, you won't learn it. You can't just do it, a couple hours a day at school. It doesn't take. You have to immerse yourself. And Talkbox.mom was one of those vendors and lecturers, again, didn't really try to sell you something, even though they were. They were just trying to teach you a better way of learning a foreign language, and it's to immerse yourself in the home with that language. And so we're learning French. And so at night, I ordered their product, and I went ahead and got the app on my phone. And now my youngest 10-year-old, he's coming in the house and je très faim. He says, I'm really hungry. So when it's about dinner time, he's like, je très faim. And I'm like, sister, I can't remember how to say, what do you want to eat? I'm learning it too. We're learning just a certain amount of phrases, and we're concentrating on those phrases alone. We're doing fantastic. And I'm really enjoying that vendor. And so Talkbox.mom was another one I really enjoyed. So Bob Smiley was he was a comedian. He was one of the entertainment. I think it was Friday night. Is it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. Bob Smiley, comedian Bob Smiley. Kids absolutely loved that. It was fantastic. So I really enjoyed the Bob Smiley. If you know Bob Smiley as a comedian, you can watch him on YouTube. He's a clean Christian comedian, and just really immensely enjoyed that. The kids did too. We got there early enough so we could get a really good seat because it was in the big auditorium. It was fantastic. Things I noticed. Here's some things I noticed. Dads, I'm going to do a separate video on dads when it comes to homeschool. We need to step up. You need to step up. Okay. And there were some things I definitely noticed about the dads, or lack thereof, or even the ones who were there when I was at this conference. And we're going to talk about that in another video. Another thing I noticed, college is no longer a badge of honor, ladies and gentlemen. It has changed. There was one speaker, lecturer I went to, and there was a few people I've seen this before with, but with her, it was a badge of honor for her to just tell you that she homeschooled her kids, and now they're in college, and now they're this, and now they're that, and they're doing these things. And that's no longer a badge of honor, in my opinion. From what I've seen with other people in the homeschooling community, sending your kid to college is like sending them off to war without any support or any training. I mean, it's like, this is not a badge of honor anymore. From what I've seen from other speakers, other people in the homeschool community, it's no longer bragging to say, oh, I homeschooled my kids, now they've graduated from college, or now they're in college. It's not. With what's going on in the colleges today, that's the last place you want to send your kid. I wouldn't want to go there. As an adult, I went to college, but today I would not want to go to college. There's too many horrible influences there. And they're not learning anything anyway. Heck, you can learn most of what you need to learn today, college level, on YouTube. It's insane. And most people are realizing that, becoming an electrician, becoming a plumber is a way better way to earn, six-figure income than going to college, because you're going to be mounted with all this debt. I'm mounted with all the debt. I'm still paying my college debt. That's one thing I've noticed. College is no longer a badge of honor. The other thing that I noticed, and this was, I told you there were two types of lectures that were packed: the organizational one, and then the homesteading. There was one speaker there who gave a lecture every day in the homesteading type arena, and it was also packed, standing room only. The lecturer was Cody Hanner, and she has a YouTube channel. I think if you just search for YouTube, Cody Hanner Homestead, I think it's called Homestead Education, or thehomesteadeducation.com. You can find information about them. They don't have a lot of subscribers. I think they only have like 200 or 300 subscribers. So go ahead and go over there and just subscribe to them. The Homestead Education. And I think they have a science-based curriculum and some other curriculums that they sell that's homesteading related. If you're interested, you can check that out. But it was listen, people are interested in saving time. That's why the organization lecture was jam-packed. And people are interested in homesteading. Why? Why are people so interested in homeschool? Because they see the system is broken and they want out. And so it's the same way with the system of everything else. I see our society is broken. I want more self-sufficiency. I want to rely on me instead of the system for what comes in here. And so homesteading, that lecture, at least the one I went to out of the three, I only went because there was other ones at times, there was different things I wanted to go to. So I couldn't go to all of hers. But the one I did go to was jam-packed, and people were interested in homesteading. They wanted to learn about, hey, how to raise chickens. Do you have any knowledge about raising animals and planting and growing gardens and all this stuff? They were interested. This is because they see the system is broken. The world around us is broken, and the only way you're going to get through this is to detach. Just like they detached from these people are switched on. They're like, I got to get out of the schools. Those are dangerous. They're not good for my kids. It's full of corruption. I'm out. Same with society. I'm out. How can I do things better, a more self-sufficient way, be more self-reliant? Homesteading. Next time, Great Homeschool Convention, you need to have more homesteaders. I have a really good suggestion on who you could have to come speak. But Cody, you did a fantastic job, and you were on fire. When you were off your notes and you were just talking about life on your homestead, and you were talking about how you and your husband were just doing what you guys do, you were on fire, and the people were eating it up. So you did a fantastic job, and I think they need to have more of this, because people who do homeschooling are of that same mindset to also do homesteading. That's why homeschooling is so popular in the homesteading community. Anyway, I had a fantastic time. We're going to do more videos on some of the materials and supplements that we're going to be using here in our home that we gathered there, some of the things I learned, and also we're going to make sure we do that video on the homeschool dads, because I think it's really important that the dads step up and the dads understand what's happening here, what's going on, and why this is important. So stay tuned for that. Hey, listen, you guys might notice that in my videos, I don't put commercials and ads. I don't allow YouTube. Sometimes I put them in there anyway, months later. But I don't allow them to put ads. Because one thing I hate is when I'm watching a video and all of a sudden an ad interrupts. And it's like totally interrupts my train of thought. And it could be a long ad, and you have to go to wherever your phone is because you're just listening, to whatever YouTuber while you're doing something else, and you have to go over to your phone and hit the skip button, or maybe it doesn't even skip. It's annoying to put ads. I don't do that. Why? Because I have an ad at the end of my videos, Genesis Gold Group, and then also the Teespring stuff. I know the shirts aren't shipping right now very well because there's supply chain issues with Teespring, but I keep that stuff at the end because I know I don't want it to bother you, because it bothers me when other YouTubers do that. It really bothers me, and I just don't think it's appropriate or polite. Anyway. So that's why I don't do that. So I appreciate that if you take a look at my ad at the end, and then if you know somebody who might need that information from Genesis Gold Group or whatever I'm putting at the end of the video, you pass that on. Also, sharing my video on social media, I really appreciate that, guys. When you share my videos and when you thumbs up my videos, it helps YouTube know that there are people who do enjoy my content. And if you want more information on my content, you want to continue to experience what I believe and think and just learn about homesteading, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, because YouTube is famous for not letting anyone know that I put out another video. And share it on social media. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, or whatever you guys got. I'm only on Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter. But if you're on any of these other places, I appreciate when you share my videos. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. See you next time on the Homestead. Bye!
Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Kane, and I am a big fan of American Homestead, as are you, or you wouldn't be seeing this right now. I'm in my backyard, my homestead, where I grow lots of fruit and vegetables. Look, both Zach and I are big fans of history, and we are watching the economic situation in our country just like you are. We absolutely love this country, and it's very difficult for us to watch it struggle financially. Now, did you know that the Constitution of the United States, in Article 1, Section 10, only allows for legal currency to be minted in gold and silver? I bet you didn't. I wasn't aware. But our founders, in their wisdom, they understood that this was the true way to build a solid financial foundation for this new nation. And they were right. They were dead right. These principles rocketed the industry and the economy that made the United States the powerhouse that we now enjoy. However, today, the US dollar, it's not backed up by anything of real value. And here we are. Now, our friends at Genesis Gold Group are helping people stuck in 401ks, IRAs, and anyone else who's watching their hard-earned wealth teeter on the edge of oblivion by moving their money out of risky paper-denominated assets and into physical precious metals like gold and silver. You can touch it. I'm doing it myself. So is my sister. Call Genesis Gold Group today and let them help you develop a plan to safeguard your assets. It's simple. You can call the number on the screen or visit them at genesisgoldgroup.com. And I will see you next time on the homestead with my dogs and all the fruit that I grow. Look at all this good stuff. You know, we got nectarines. More dogs coming down. If you get cut, we got some aloe vera for you. What I do need, though, is chickens. I need chickens because eggs are about the same price as gold right now. Anyway, see you on the homestead.